What is up, Nexus fam? Get ready to have your minds blown because the gaming world is absolutely exploding with massive news today, and you are not going to want to miss a single second. We've got updates that are reshaping how we play, new ways to interact with our favorite platforms, and some seriously bold predictions from the top dogs in the industry. The pace is relentless, the stakes are high, and if you want to stay ahead of the curve, you've come to the right place. So buckle up, because this is PS5 Nexus, and we're diving headfirst into the hottest stories that are defining the future of gaming, starting right now. First up, a legendary franchise is making a historic cross-platform leap, bringing its iconic gameplay to a whole new audience and setting the stage for what could be a brand new era for the series. Then, we're talking about a major shakeup in how you handle your digital purchases, with a platform making it significantly easier to get your money back. But wait, there's more. We're also digging into the finer details of that new refund policy, exploring what it means for players and how it stacks up against the competition. And finally, we're getting a direct look inside the mind of a PlayStation CEO, revealing a fascinating new philosophy on game development and risk-taking that could change the landscape of first-party titles forever. You need to hear this. Don't touch that dial. Hit that like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and let's get this show on the road. A new era dawns for a classic franchise. For nearly 2 decades, the iconic Gears of War series has been a cornerstone of the Xbox ecosystem, a name synonymous with intense cover-based shooting and a narrative that has captivated players. However, in a move that marks a significant shift in the console landscape, Gears of War is poised to make its grand debut on a PlayStation console. This momentous occasion signifies not just the expansion of a beloved franchise, but potentially the dawn of a new era for both the series and its dedicated fanbase, bridging the gap between once-rival platforms. Gears of War, Reloaded, the latest iteration in the storied franchise, is not an entirely new chapter, but rather a meticulously crafted remaster of the 2015 Gears of War, Ultimate Edition. This, in turn, was itself a modern reimagining of the groundbreaking 2006 title that started it all, the original Gears of War. For those new to the gritty world of Sierra or longtime veterans seeking a refresher on the epic saga, the narrative plunges players into a planet scarred by relentless conflict. Mere weeks after the coalition of ordered governments, COG, achieved victory in the prolonged pendulum wars against the Union of Independent Republics, UIR, a terrifying new threat emerged. From beneath the planet's surface rose the Locust, a formidable reptilian humanoid species that declared war on humanity. The infamous E-Day saw a catastrophic loss, with a quarter of the human population wiped out, leaving survival as humanity's sole objective. 14 years following this cataclysm, players assume the role of Marcus Fenix, a decorated war hero facing disgrace after defying orders to rescue his father, a decision that led to his imprisonment. His liberation comes courtesy of his closest friend and comrade, Dominic Santiago, who extracts him from a maximum security prison just as it succors to the encroaching Locust forces. Now, Marcus is thrust into the critical mission of leading Delta Squad, tasked with deploying a devastating weapon that holds the key to humanity's salvation. For those familiar with the 2015 remaster, Gears of War, Reloaded offers a remarkably similar experience in terms of content. The campaign can be tackled solo or cooperatively with a friend, either online or through local couch co-op. Players will wield an arsenal of iconic weaponry, including the legendary chainsaw bayonet lancer and the classic hammer burst. The journey will take them through treacherous environments, from overrun prisons to the subterranean depths of the Hollow, pitting them against formidable Locust adversaries such as the fearsome General Rom and the unstoppable Berserker. Online multiplayer is also a significant draw, boasting dedicated servers, a variety of game modes, and 19 remastered maps. While the balance of multiplayer modes is always a subject of passionate debate among fans, the matches experienced during early access were smooth, competitively paced, and delivered the signature Gnasher shotgun duels that Gears enthusiasts cherish. The inclusion of crossplay is a game-changer, allowing players to finally share the Gears experience with friends on different platforms, a feature long anticipated by the community. This broader player pool not only enhances the multiplayer experience, but also strengthens the game's appeal in an era dominated by live service titles. While the multiplayer often takes center stage, the heart of Gears of War has always been its compelling, story-driven campaign. The successful launch of Reloaded on PlayStation could pave the way for sequels to follow suit, and it serves as an excellent primer for the upcoming release of Gears of War E-Day in 2026. Ultimately, Gears of War Reloaded successfully polishes a beloved classic, uniting console players, and offering a gateway for newcomers to experience the series' impactful narrative and intense gameplay. But is this the only major platform news shaking things up? Get ready, because we're about to dive into a significant change that could make your digital shopping experience much smoother. PlayStation Store streamlines refund process for users. Sony has implemented a notable update to the PlayStation Store's refund system, simplifying the process for consumers to request their money back on digital purchases. This enhancement aims to make the refund procedure more accessible and user-friendly, addressing past frustrations that often made obtaining refunds a complex and discouraging endeavor. While the fundamental eligibility criteria for refunds remain consistent with previous policies, the core of this update lies in the improved discoverability and ease of use for the refund request function. Previously, users often had to navigate through a labyrinth of customer support channels, frequently encountering automated systems and extended waiting periods, which deterred many from pursuing legitimate refund claims. The updated system aims to rectify this by integrating the refund option directly into the user interface, mirroring the streamlined processes found in many other modern digital marketplaces. To be eligible for a refund, users must adhere to Sony's established guidelines. Primarily, this means that the purchased game must not have been downloaded or played for more than 14 days from the date of purchase, aligning with standard digital withdrawal rights. This condition ensures that the refund system is utilized for genuine cases of buyer's remorse or unforeseen issues rather than for extended game usage. The revised process can be initiated through the PlayStation app. By navigating to the PlayStation Store section and accessing the transaction history, users will now find a prominent Request Refund option. This direct pathway immediately commences the refund process, eliminating the need for external customer support interactions. Alternatively, the same functionality is accessible via the PlayStation Store website, ensuring flexibility for users across different devices. This simplification is a welcome change for many PlayStation users who have voiced concerns about the previous refund system's opacity and inefficiency. The move towards a more direct, self-service refund model is a significant step towards aligning PlayStation's digital storefront practices with industry standards, particularly in comparison to platforms like Steam, which have long offered more forgiving refund policies. However, it is important to note that this update primarily addresses the accessibility of the refund request, not the expansion of refund eligibility itself. The core rules, such as the 14-day window and the prohibition of significant gameplay, remain in place. In related news, a significant lawsuit has been filed by the Dutch consumer group Massashade and Consument against Sony. The group alleges that PlayStation Store digital game prices are inflated by as much as 47% compared to their physical counterparts. This legal action highlights ongoing scrutiny of Sony's market practices and raises questions about pricing strategies within the digital gaming economy. The lawsuit claims Sony is leveraging its dominant market position to maintain unfairly high prices for digital game downloads, a practice that could have wider implications for consumer rights and fair competition in the gaming industry. While these policy changes are certainly noteworthy, there's another major development on the PlayStation front. Prepare yourself for a fascinating insight into the strategic thinking at the very top of the company, as we explore a new philosophy on game development that could redefine success. PlayStation enhances refund accessibility amidst policy continuity. PlayStation has introduced a more convenient method for players to initiate refund requests directly through its platforms, while simultaneously maintaining its established policy that prohibits refunds for downloaded or significantly played content. This dual approach aims to improve user experience for specific scenarios, such as managing pre-orders, without altering the fundamental conditions for refunds on purchased games. Previously, requesting a refund often involved engaging with online agents and completing a series of verification steps, particularly for issues like accidental pre-orders. The new feature integrated into the PlayStation app provides a much more streamlined and direct pathway. Users can now navigate to their transaction history within the PlayStation Store section of the app and select a Request Refund option. This simplifies the process considerably, especially for those who may have made a mistake with a pre-order and wish to cancel it before the game's release or before any download or gameplay occurs. This update is particularly beneficial for managing pre-order cancellations. However, it's crucial to acknowledge that PlayStation's refund policy for purchased games still lags behind the more lenient standards set by competitors like Steam. Once a game is purchased and launched, the window for a refund effectively closes unless specific circumstances apply. Sony has, on occasion, made exceptions for titles that were demonstrably broken or unplayable at launch, such as Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS4, and more recently, Mindsai, where severe technical issues necessitated a more flexible approach to refunds. While the enhanced convenience for pre-order cancellations is a positive step, there remains a clear desire within the player community for Sony to modernize its broader refund mechanism. Many players hope for a policy that is more in line with current industry expectations, offering greater flexibility for digital purchases that may not meet player expectations after initial gameplay. The current system, while improved in accessibility for certain cases, still presents a significant barrier for refunds on played games, a point of contention for many consumers who invest heavily in the digital marketplace. Speaking of major shifts in strategy, the very leadership at PlayStation is rethinking how they approach game development. Get ready for some bold statements from the CEO about embracing failure as a path to innovation. PlayStation CEO advocates for fail early and cheaply development philosophy. In a candid discussion about the future of PlayStation's first-party studios, CEO Hermen Hulst has articulated a new strategic directive to encourage development teams to fail early and cheaply. This philosophy emerges in the wake of significant financial and developmental setbacks, most notably the high-profile failure of the live service shooter Concord, and serves as a pivot towards mitigating costly risks in game creation. Hulst, speaking with the Financial Times, drew a direct contrast between the commercial disappointment of Concord and the resounding success of titles like the mascot platformer Astro Bot. "I don't want teams to always play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply," Hulst stated. This approach suggests a desire to foster innovation and experimentation within studios, but with a framework that allows for quicker identification and correction of issues before they escalate into substantial financial drains. Following the Concord incident, which reportedly cost Sony approximately $250 million and led to the closure of its developer, Firewalk Studio, just 2 weeks post-launch, PlayStation has implemented more stringent oversight mechanisms for its internal studios. Hulst emphasized that more rigorous and more frequent testing in very many different ways has been introduced. He believes that the failure of projects like Concord has underscored the necessity of this enhanced supervision, providing valuable lessons that can inform future development cycles. "The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary that oversight is," he added. The substantial investment in Concord, coupled with its swift demise, has evidently influenced Sony's broader strategy regarding live service games. Hulst indicated that PlayStation is now reassessing its commitment to the genre, a sentiment echoed by Sony's chief financial officer, Lin Tao, who recently acknowledged that the company's live service ambitions are not entirely going smoothly. This strategic recalibration is further evidenced by the indefinite delay of Bungie's Marathon reboot, which followed its initial reveal earlier this year. Instead of focusing heavily on live service models, Hulst champions a strategy centered on cultivating existing intellectual property, IP, into enduring franchises, much like the consistent positive reception of the Astro Bot series with each new installment. We take a very intentional approach to IP creation, understanding how a new concept can turn into an iconic franchise for PlayStation that can then again become a franchise for people beyond gaming, Hulst explained. This focus on sustainable IP growth suggests a long-term vision that prioritizes building lasting value through established characters and worlds, rather than relying on the often volatile success of new live service ventures. This strategic shift signifies a potential move towards more traditional, narrative-driven experiences and established franchises that have a proven track record of audience engagement and commercial success. And that wraps up our deep dive into PlayStation's evolving development philosophy. Now, let's quickly recap the biggest stories of the day before we sign off. And that's a wrap on another packed episode of PS5 Nexus. We saw Gears of War make a massive cross-platform debut. PlayStation is making refunds easier. They're sticking to their guns on refund policies, and the CEO wants studios to embrace smart failure. What an incredible news cycle. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to PS5 Nexus for all your gaming updates. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Drop a comment below telling us your thoughts on today's news, and follow us on all our social channels for even more content. We'll see you in the next one.